Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Second Cup. I'm Mike, and this is a short thing I'm doing every day to just hold myself accountable. Make sure I start my day off with a little bit of musical stuff. First thing that I can think of to play for the day, do that, and then I can go on with my stuff. I have a busy day, so I want to keep this really short. Alright, what I just played is from the song 2 of 5, and I guess arguably that is the chorus. It's a weird tune, so it's not exactly the most straightforward chorus for a rock or pop tune. I guess it's more of an art rock kind of thing, but the melody that I didn't play over that just goes like Anyway, I'll go over that lick another time. It's a good lick, and I should practice it before I try to demonstrate it. So anyway, the chords that are happening underneath that is a lot of parallelism. I like parallelism in music. It's a way of getting a modern sound that is really cool, especially when you're using already modern sounding kind of stuff. And for this improvisation, which I don't improvise on these changes on the record, but they are fun to play over because you get this parallel. You could treat everything just as Ionian. I'm treating most of them as Lydian chords. So the main voicing is this D major 7 voicing. You've probably seen this one a lot. The only thing I'm doing with this one is I'm just taking the 5th and I'm moving it down to the 3rd. So I'm doubling the 3rd. So I've got the root, 3rd, major 7, and the 3rd again. You've probably seen this voicing a lot if you're into R&B. Where you put that 9 in there. It's a really beautiful voicing. I do use that one a lot as well. But for this tune, there's something about the voice leading that is going to connect off of this note in this chord. And then I just work it around the cycle of 5ths. From D to G major 7 sharp, D major 7, yeah, to C. And here's going to be one of those voice leading things. This is B minor 7, 11. Because everybody should stop at a 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. Then it repeats back to the D. Then we again A flat minor 7, 11. That 3rd becomes the 7th of the next chord. G major 7 sharp 11. B flat major 7 sharp 11. So again, using that Lydian chord sound parallelism. And then the second time around, I just did the tag of B flat major 7 sharp 11, A flat major 7 sharp 11, D flat major 7 sharp 11. I love that sound. It sounds very modern. It sounds very cool. It works in a rock context with the guitar. It sounds very Donald Fagen, which I'm a big Donald Fagen fan. His chord voicing and voice leading is incredible. So I'm inspired a lot by that stuff, and I just get a lot of good stuff out of that. So anyway, I think part of the reason that this voicing works, and I'll demonstrate this on the B flat, is this particular voicing is cool to me, and I like voicings like this where you pair consonants with a little bit of dissonance. It kind of smooths it out in a kind of way. So if you start from the root of this with a B flat, we have a major 3rd, which is obviously very consonant. That's great. But then we have this spicy major 7 in there. So we have a little bit of dissonance here, very much consonance here, and then the interval between the major 7 and the major 3rd is a perfect 4th, which is very consonant. So it helps smooth out that major 7 relationship in there because you have 2 intervals of consonance and 1 interval of dissonance. And then the upper structure of the chord, we have this major 2nd and then a 5th from there. So again, we've got that dissonance and consonance smoothing out. Another perfect 4th up here, which are kind of cool when you separate them, but then you put them together separated by that major 2nd. It's just an interesting sound. And then you have the sharp 11 interval going back to your root. It's just an interesting combination of consonance and dissonance as they work together. And to my ear, that works very nicely. So anyway, there you go. I do want to call this one today Principles, and I'll just talk about that for a second. And my recorder shut off on me when I went through this one time before, so I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to call this Principles mainly because there's some stuff going on in everybody's life, obviously, with this pandemic and things like that. And I just want to put the philosophical idea out there that principles are things, they're for us, for when things get difficult. Principles are things that we should be able to rely on in ourselves, that these are good things. They root us in firmament. They put us squarely on the earth when it seems like everything is trying to knock us over, like, I don't know, a global pandemic or things like that. And really they're for the tough times. It's easy to do the right thing when everything's going well and there's no conflict. But when there is conflict, really that's what our principles are for. For when the going gets tough, our principles are there. And if we are able to abandon our principles at a time when things get really hard, then they weren't really principles after all. They were fashion statements. And that's not a bad thing either. Fashion statements are good. It's just understanding for ourselves what the difference is between a principle and a fashion statement. I have been meditating on this a lot, not just during the course of this lockdown, but over the course of the last few years. No mystery. I have been dealing with my own bouts of depression and anxiety and OCD for the last several years, and just trying to find a healthy way of getting through that. And I talk about it online, but I stop short of talking about anything really detailed and personal. I don't get family involved with that stuff. I don't get people that I work with involved, or friends that I'm involved with involved in any of that stuff online, because that doesn't do anybody any good. But what I do want to, as a principle, is to put out there that it is good, and I want to encourage people to have an open dialogue about depression issues and solutions and help for these things. So I woke up to a whole bunch of messages today. There's no point in me talking about the specificity of any of that stuff, because it's close to the bone for me and for a lot of people that I care and love very much for. But it is enough to say that if you find yourself in need of help, reaching out and talking about that in an open way is a good thing. There are, of course, hotlines if you don't want to talk to people directly that you know or family. You can do that. 911 is obviously a thing here in the States as well. And whatever country you're in, I'm sure you have an emergency services number that you can call. I highly encourage everyone to do that, especially if you're having suicidal thoughts or thoughts of harming yourself. These are to be taken very seriously. Getting too personal with that stuff on social media is a difficult thing. It's not good for everybody. It invites a lot of drama, and you can tell that what you're going through is already difficult enough. Not a good idea to heap more difficulty on top of all of that stuff, whether it's embarrassing people that you care about or that care about you, or what have you. I think that's an important principle to have, and just reaching out to people and being honest. Nobody has the magic cure to anything, but you can have a giving ear to listen, and that's important, and encourage for real help on things. All right, so with that, and if anybody wants to talk to me about that, I always have an open door policy. Send me a direct message privately. If you have my phone number, call me, leave me a voicemail, or text me privately, and I'll be more than happy to talk to anybody about your situation and let you know what I can do to listen, and maybe encourage you if you need more serious help beyond that. All right, I will leave this on a very positive note as well. I had one comment on a video from yesterday about a second cup that I had done a couple of days ago, and it was about an exercise. And this exercise I learned as a classical guitarist. I'll try to do this in a quick minute. As a classical guitarist, I think I got this from Scott Tennant's pumping nylon instruction method while I was in college. Scott Tennant, incredible guitar player. I found this was to be a very helpful exercise, not just on classical guitar, but on electric guitar as well. I do a modification of this now, just because I'd like to bastardize all things. But here's the initial idea. It's a suspension exercise. So you're going to play 2 descending chromatic lines, and it's a digital pattern that's going to happen between 2 different strings. So you're going to play 2 chromatic lines on 2 different strings, and one string you can move to another string, and then you're going to keep the one chromatic line on your first string. So we'll do this between A and A. So one chromatic line is walking down from the A to the F sharp, and then the other one is, so it starts with the outer octave of the A, and then they're going to both move opposite each other. And you're going to play one note and suspend it while you make a finger move to the next note. Suspend that note, play the next one, suspend that one, play the next one, suspend that one. So this is not an exercise in speed. This is an exercise in strength and dexterity. So here it goes. Think of all of these as half notes and ties that will cross a bar line to make notes last longer. So I would start here, and you can either finger pick this or hybrid pick this. I got this as a classical guitar exercise. Obviously there's a string skip in here, and I don't want to make this a picking exercise, so I will hybrid pick this on electric guitar, on classical guitar, or if I'm working on just fingerstyle, I will fingerstyle it. If you want to do that, maybe just do it between your thumb and your middle finger. Sorry, I'm not trying to give any disparate gestures there, but P and M. Or you could do it with I as well. Classical fingering, P-I-M-A-L is how you think about those. So if you're doing that finger style, I would do, feels most natural between thumb and your middle finger. If you want to hybrid pick it, I still end up using my middle finger for the first string. And I will start with the first string. So descending lines sounds like this. You can see the difficulty of this line. The idea is that you pick up your finger at the precise moment that you move to the next note, so that there's a complete suspension. So it really works on the hand strength and stretching inside of a shape. In classical guitar, you end up holding chords or holding voicings while you're moving a complementary line. So you're oftentimes playing music in multiple parts, in polyphony. So that's a way to help strengthen that within your own hand. And hopefully doing exercises like that will encourage you to add some more polyphony and imitation into your own guitar playing, whether it's accompaniment stuff or even in the form of just improvisation and solo thoughts or writing melodies, to where you can still do 2 voices on one guitar and they don't have to all be double stops. Doesn't have to be that. And I don't know why I'm picking the worst intervals ever. There's a G major version of it. So it doesn't just have to be that. It can actually be thinking of yourself as playing a duet with yourself during a solo. It's a good exercise to do. So anyway, hope that helps. If you have any questions about that, send me a message about that, and I'll try to explain, why that's so difficult for me to play and why it's so good for me to play, and probably good for you guys to play too. Maybe on another episode, I'll talk about the bastardization of idea that I do on that. So anyway, there you go. Principles. Get up, play guitar. That's been my principle. I need to play. I play every day because that's what I say I do. So that's just going to be a principle. So I make myself do this every day. Today was hard. I almost backed out of it, but I got it done. So hopefully whatever's on your to-do list is today, you get it done too. So hopefully a little inspiration for that. All right, guys. Thank you. This has been very helpful for me. Hopefully it's helpful for some of you guys out there too. Feel free to share this, subscribe, like. I'm really bad as a YouTuber, but I'm really doing this for my own purposes for as long as I possibly can until I get back to, feeling like I got my hands on this. So just enjoying this for the time being. Hopefully you are too. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that YouTube guys ask you to do. And The tune 205 is on my record, 205. You can buy that on iTunes if you want to support. You can listen to it on Spotify if you want to support, although streaming doesn't really bring in any revenue. I don't think it's any mystery to anybody at this particular point. And also, I'll leave a couple of links for if you want to send a tip or anything like that if you got something from this lesson. And I do teach as well. I've got some students later today. And I know I'm playing phone tag with a few students, potential to trying to get on my roster. So we'll get that done. I've got some phone calls to make to pad that stuff out too. So if I can help you out with any of that stuff, teaching online is saving my butt right now. So more so than tips. The tips have been very generous, and I greatly appreciate all that stuff. So I'll try to keep putting out some informative stuff. So if you get some value from it, and you feel so inclined to do something as such, please don't feel like it's a requirement. I had people asking for a way that they could do that, so I'm providing it. So thank you guys for that. Every little bit has meant a tremendous lot. So thank you. I have a whole bunch that I need to get done now, so I'm going to get this uploaded, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you.